Today's interview is with Colette Walker, who is leader of the ISP party in Scotland. Colette, thank you for taking the time to talk to the School Times.
You're very welcome, Peter.
Gender politics has become a huge issue in Scotland. Now, a new bill passed by the Parliament in Edinburgh, the Gender Recognition Reform Bill, has caused controversy. Why is that?
The bill that was passed is mainly focusing on self-identification, self-ID, and the other main topic was they reduced the age that somebody could declare that they wanted to change gender from 18 to 16. So we just felt that that was far too young to actually reduce it. And also then there's no need for any medical intervention, no medical advice. You could just basically say you want to change gender and within 6 months you could get your birth certificate changed.
When you say down to 16, what can 16-year-olds do that they couldn't do before?
Well, in Scotland, we can actually vote in the local elections. You can in the general elections. And I think they're looking on it as that they can vote in Scotland and they can have sexual relations in Scotland and they can get married. But living and changing and starting on hormone replacements and going down a line of changing their body is a whole other aspect of a lifestyle.
Now, one criticism has come from women who say they feel threatened by this new legislation. In what practical ways does the bill affect the daily life of women and girls?
The self-identification allows a biological man to change his gender, but on his birth certificate, he's actually changing his legal sex. You can't change your sex. Sex is biological. But on your birth certificate, it's changing your legal sex, which then incurs a situation where they are then able to go into single-sex safe spaces. And again, we've seen in the media about things like transgender women going into women's sports, etc. But they are a biological man with biological genitalia.
How does the GR bill affect young people specifically? For example, does it allow medical transitioning at a younger age? I understand medical transitioning is an irreversible process.
This is where the bill gets quite confusing because they are able to change their identity of gender, they're able to change their birth certificate, and they can then start on the process of hormonal treatment. And I think it would probably be a more unpractical and a more dangerous way to go down if you haven't had proper professional advice on where to go and how to go about it. So, and again, as you said, Peter, once you've had surgery, then what's called detransing is it's a very difficult thing to do. So there's a lot of different issues, not only with changing your gender and possibly going through surgery, it's the lifelong health implications that comes with it.
And there have been experiences of young people regretting their decision and being unable to grow back perhaps parts of their body, particularly of women and girls.
Absolutely. I know quite a few, and one in particular, she was in her mid-20s, so not young, not like 16, what they're saying in the GRR bill. This woman was in her mid-20s, and because of what she read online, she thought that she suffered from body dysphoria, and she went down the route of starting male hormone treatment, and she then got a double mastectomy. And once she had the double mastectomy, she realised that she still felt the same about herself. It wasn't actually her physical body and, her breasts or her vagina or whatever it might have been that she thought was the body dysphoria that she wanted rid of. She actually still felt the same once her breasts were removed. But there's nothing now that she can do about that because she's been on, as I said, male hormone treatment for years, and she's now had this double mastectomy. She's now only early 30s.
People speaking out for women's rights have been called transphobic, bigots, and worse. What do you say to those who say that we should just live and let live?
Peter, from the very start of ISP and before I started up ISP, we spoke out about the GRR bill. But this actually has got nothing to do with trans people. In the Equality Act, gender reassignment is a protected characteristic. This bill wasn't going to give any more powers to anybody going through the procedure of going through gender reassignment. This was all about self-identification. We are promoting trans people to live and love and dress without any harassment, any hatred. It's never been about trans people. It's about protecting our young people from very dangerous medical procedures that are going to be lifelong for them. And it's also about protecting women and children. This is about rights, women's rights that we fought for years, and protection and safeguarding. And it is safeguarding for those that are the most vulnerable in society.
Yeah. Now, on that topic, Colette, there are also issues with the prison system, and there's been a very high-profile case all over the news for the past week or so. What's been going on there?
Well, again, this is something that we had warned the Scottish Government for years about transgender and self-identification for men, especially that were self-identifying as women and going into women's prisons. And then there was harassment and sexual abuse happening within the prison service. We warned them about this leading up to the bill being passed. As you know, the bill got passed just before Christmas. And then just this week, we came across a story that's been in all media, not just Scotland, but I think internationally, near enough. A man who was married raped 2 women. He used a dating site and he raped 2 women. And he was charged for those 2 rapes. And after he was charged, he then decided to change his gender to a woman.
Now, did you say that he changed his gender after he was charged?
Yes.
With the crime of rape?
Yes.
And that was completely permissible?
Yes, he changed it. He was trying to say that he knew when he was 4 that he needed to change his gender, and his wife laughed it off because he hadn't done anything about it in all that time until he was charged with rape, thinking that he would get a better or easier sentence if he went into a women's prison.